Well, welcome from John Blue's office. A dear friend, a church planter, and he's made the space available for us, for which we're really grateful, because I love playing around on the whiteboard. Thank you also for all the love and appreciation that many of you have sent to us. We're enjoying doing these podcasts, and if they're helpful, what a delight to share them with you. This morning we want to explore the issue of leadership a little further for the church planter. As we said last time, it's the fourth piece of the foundations that are laid out in Ephesians 2:20. But I want to talk even more specifically about the model of leadership that we choose subconsciously or consciously. That's where the school teacher in me comes alive, and we use the whiteboard. Generally speaking, there are four models of leadership that we see used in the modern church. The first is the triangle on the way up, and that is the Episcopal model. The Episcopal model is known for its hierarchy. It's generally led by a very charismatic personality who directs the affairs of the church. Generally, Pentecostal churches, independent Christian churches use them, and it's very geared around the leadership, the authority, the presence, the vision casting of one personality. Does it have value? Sure. Does it work? Many times. Does it have its weaknesses? Beyond question. The second is the congregational model, and that's the triangle on the way upside down. In the Western world, where democracy is highly valued, this is often a favored model of church leadership. That's where the people have the right to vote, the right to speak into everything, the right to make a decision about everything. And again, it has its merit, it has its place. Where there are concerns around checks and balances, this model is often drawn upon. It tends to be a little weighty on the shoulders of the person captaining the church plant, because so many of the expectations and decisions made rest on his shoulders and his ability to conduct them into reality. The third is a very flat leadership model, sometimes called the egalitarian model, in which everyone almost has an equal voice in the story. Now, to be honest with you, I generally find that evidenced where there's hurt and there's pain and there's disappointment, and then people feel like they will never be bossed again, they will never be told what to do again, they will determine their own fate. However, it oftentimes leads not just to an empowering of the voice of everyone, it also tends to silence the voice of those who are gifted to lead, and it creates a kind of spinning donuts in a parking lot type affair where there's energy and there's excitement, but no one really goes anywhere. Tragically, from my experience, many of these churches don't exist for any period of time. I think there is a better way. The idea is not original to me, but it's one that I love, and that's the triangle on its side. The triangle on its side has many helpful pieces to it. All of us at some point in time talk about the church as a people on the move, just like Moses led the people through the desert. The cloud by day, the pillar of fire by night. We're a people on the move. We have a direction. We have a sense of assignment. God has called us to something. We're not just a community that exists to feed itself. We're not just a tradition that wants to self-perpetuate. We're not just a people that are continuously crafting the narrative for the leaders. Rather, this is a beautiful picture of leadership. In Philippians, Paul writes to the three leadership groupings in the life of the church. He speaks to the elders, or the overseers. He speaks to the deacons, and then he speaks to the saints, the priesthood of all believers. And so all three are essential, they're valid, they're viable, they're essential to the movement that God has for the community. It also gives us a picture that senior leadership in the local church is not a singular person. When we read and unpackage the examples of the New Testament model, we always see the word elder in the plurality. The only exception is when John writes to a very specific person in his epistles. But for the rest, as a governmental model, we see it plural, we see it collaborative, we see it involved. And I think it was Connor who first popularized the idea of the first amongst equals, where there is a point person, a senior pastor, lead elder, or someone like that, but who collaborates with a group of others in the assignment that God has given them. And then, of course, the deacon piece, which is so beautifully crafted in the scriptures, is not just those who serve, who hand out hymnals, who straighten the chairs and make sure that there's bread and wine. It's an exquisite office that is there to bring wholeness and healing and health, to resolve conflict between groupings within the church, and to distribute the wares and the food and so on and so forth. And then, of course, this vast bulk of men and women we affectionately call the priesthood of all believers, that make for an essential and vital component of healthy church. This tends to deify one or two charismatic personalities. This tends to deify democracy and the power of the vote. This tends to remove all evidence of leadership and the potential to be hurt. This one, I think, is incredibly helpful because it crafts movement, it crafts collaboration, and it crafts inclusion. Everyone is involved in the forward movement of this community and the assignment that God has for it.